Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going In Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going In Raw. We also offer the Steve Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steve Larson or go to patreon.com/Steve Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Steve Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast, ruining pro wrestling podcasting since 2014. On today's episode, we've got the latest on the backstage details surrounding Ron Killings, a.k.a. R-Truth's return to the WWE. Was it all a work? Hey, just enjoy the show, man. Just enjoy it. Did you like it? Did you like it? Just enjoy the show, man.
Part of the show. He's a part of the show. It's all part of the show.
Triple H, he really needs to start doing the H face when he thinks he's being clever. He's up there. He thought he was so clever when that dude at the press conference said, "So can you the truth situation? Was he really released? Did you really bring him back? Did you?" Yeah, just do
Doesn't
that.
even say anything. Just H face.
That'd be great.
As we thought at the time, shouldn't put any stock in what he said because it seems like nothing involving R-Truth's departure was part of the show.
Well, he didn't actually say the whole thing was planned. He said, "Did you enjoy the show? Or did you enjoy it? It's all part of the show, man."
Yeah, I know. It was vague enough that you can be like, "Oh, it sounds like he's saying it was all kayfabe." But
this dude just at WrestleMania was like, "I don't mind when things. I don't like when things are spoiled in advance, but I don't mind talking about how it came together." I guess maybe except when it comes to botched contract negotiations.
I think he doesn't mind talking about how it came together so long as it's in a highly edited Netflix reality show.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, so we're also going to talk about Worlds Collide as well, give you our thoughts, because hell of a show that Worlds Collide. I'm looking forward to more of those. Go ahead and let's talk about the R-Truth.
Let's start with Ron Killings, R-Truth. So, of course, during Saturday's Money in the Bank premium live event, Ron Killings, R-Truth, made a fairly shocking return to WWE just about a week after he announced on Twitter and then report subsequently stating that he was finishing up with the company or was finished up with the company due to WWE not renewing his contract, which was set to expire shortly. And of course, given it's pro wrestling, people always want to say, well, was this a shoot or a work? And again, given that it's pro wrestling, a lot of times you got to ask yourself that question as far as what things happen on the TV screen. So, shortly after Money in the Bank, Fightful Select had a report, and Fightful was very clear to note that Truth's original WWE contract had yet to expire, but sources claim he has been brought back on a new deal. Get to more on that in a little bit. Fightful adds that Truth had ignored WWE's initial overtures until Nick Khan called Truth to work out a new contract, which sources described as a meeting halfway situation. Let's take a break here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's Jonathan Coachman's stuff on his podcast, so potentially great assault. He did bring up that Truth was offered a deal by WWE, a new contract that was for much less money than he was making, and Truth turned it down. I don't know if this meeting halfway situation is a reference to that or something else. So,
I mean, it definitely, it seems like that is, it wouldn't shock me, and I'm not trying to put, throw cold water on anybody's reporting about anything. I mean, I'd need a larger sample size of Coachman's, when he says Triple H is going to be out within the next 18 months. Well, I need a little bit more between now and then to know if what Coachman is saying is truthiness or it's just pure bullshit. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it stands to reason. Hey, we know you got some value to the company. We know people like you. But we're not going to use you to the degree that your salary, would demand. And we're a bunch of cheap bastards over here at TKO, just swimming in piles of debt. So let's lowball you And he was like, no, that's not going to work for me. I could see that being the case. Like, that's nothing new. That's not anything new in any form of business.
No. So Fightful had more. They spoke to several talent who had spoken to Truth, and they all reiterated to Fightful that Truth's initial departure was not a work. Talents claimed that there were, quote, many tears backstage following news of Truth's departure, and those who spoke to Truth indicated that he seemed, quote, shocked and kind of disgusted by WWE's move to not renew his deal. One talent noted that Truth received the news from a talent relations employee rather than the company's, quote, top brass, and that it was delivered in a, quote, very cold and impersonal way. Regarding the idea the entire saga was a work, one talent who has worked with Truth for over a decade stated to Fightful, quote, Ronnie wouldn't do that. If he had to maintain a work like that, he'd just ask us not to say anything. He would never lie to us about that. I think Paul Levesque also knows that lying to or working the locker room is horrible taste. So when we talked about this initially on our Money in the Bank recap, we discussed the idea of using a talent, what do you want to call it, release, not renewing their contract, losing their job.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And using that for a story and how that could be pretty tacky just from our vantage point as viewers.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But of course, in pro wrestling, so much of the pro wrestling industry is based on trust and the idea of, the executives work in the locker room would be met with a lot of anger pretty quickly, because that's like one thing that you kind of don't do in the pro wrestling business. Management doesn't work the locker room.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. It's one thing, look, you can work us marks all day long.
Yeah, that's kind of the job of creative, yeah.
Right. But when you lose the trust, of, you don't want your locker room to be on shaky ground when it comes to, like, I can't trust these people.
Exactly.
Like that's unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. In a subsequent follow-up, Fightful stated they spoke to a, quote, higher-up from WWE who reiterated that Truth's departure was not a work and confirmed Fightful's reporting on the matter. The source also stated that Truth's return was, quote, a good sign that the roster and fan response being listened to overcame everything else.
This is where to me it becomes, I was hoping that the entire thing was a work, because if the idea is they didn't understand that this would be the reaction, then I don't, like, do they not pay attention? Like, how is it you and I would know? If you and I were, a month ago, we're told, hey, this is how this is going to play out. Our Truth is going to have a main event slot against, he's going to have a Saturday night's main event slot against Cena. Pretty quick match. Cena blasts him. And then shortly after, WWE is not going to extend his contract. They're going to let it expire. What do you think the fan response is going to be to that? What do you think the backstage locker room's response is going to be to that?
Pretty much unanimous uttering of, what the hell you doing, WWE? Like, what is this? This is foolishness.
Yeah, and there'd be plenty of people chanting for Truth in the crowd. Like, if we were told that this is how it was going to, these events were going to transpire, we could have told you. Here's the thing. We're not even that smart.
No.
We're old. Our memories are shot. Like, half the time I'm like, what day is it?
Yeah. What day is it, by the way? Today, what is it?
I mean, it's Monday. I only know that because yesterday I slept in, today I didn't.
That's a good indicator right there.
Right? That's what I have to do these days because I'm kind of stupid.
But here's the thing. We're coming up on summer break. That's going to throw everything off because we don't have to get up early any days for the next 2 months.
So the point is, we're not terribly smart. We've lost. No. We're definitely not at 100%. We peaked probably 10, 15 years ago.
Speak for yourself. I think 30 years ago for me, honestly. 25, 30 years ago in some respects.
Okay. Hey, I've read some of my high school papers. They were pretty good back in the day.
I read some of my college ones. They're not too bad.
Right. So the point is, we're pretty stupid. We could have told you this was going to be the response.
Yeah. We could have told you it was a terrible idea.
So how is it that the dudes at WWE whose job it is to kind of understand, like, how their roster is perceived, how is it they don't know that this was going to happen?
Here's the thing.
That's crazy to me.
It's not just how do they not know how roster moves are going to be perceived by the fan base, how do they not know how roster moves are going to be perceived within the locker room?
That's the bigger one too. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
there. Like Triple H is there every single day with the locker room. By all accounts, he is more accessible than Vince. Like,
Yeah.
you would think he would have his finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Of,
it's crazy.
Of all this. And if he was involved in signing off on not renewing R-Truth's deal, literally, what the hell is he thinking?
If he really thought, let me go down this line of roster people, and I don't mean to, cast shade to anybody, but it's like there are certain people where it's like, you know what, I know this is going to be perceived as a bummer because people are not having their contracts renewed, but this one right here, probably not. But when you get to the name R-Truth, how do you not know? And this is what I told my Wrestle Juice audience last night, because I had kind of a similar conversation about this. To our friendos out there, never think that you're not smart enough. Never think you're not good enough. There are plenty of stupid, epically stupid people in charge of a great many things in this world. Epically stupid people.
Yeah.
For them not to understand that this was going to get this response, epically stupid.
Yeah.
Which is why I was hoping was work. It's like, oh man, come on. They can't be that dumb.
They are.
Just enjoy the show, man.
They are. Yeah.
I like Triple H too, but goddamn, this is stupid.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Anyways.
Majorly.
Bodyslam.net had some more details. It said this. WWE were legitimately letting Killing's talent contract expire and not renewing it. Several within WWE wanted him to stay with the company, but not as an active talent. The backlash and reaction that came about over the last week created an opportunity that WWE could not pass up, and WWE President Nick Khan ultimately reached out to facilitate a new working deal with Killings. PWInsider.com reported that the decision to bring Killings back happened over the last 72 hours, which I was informed by a source that the new deal came together sometime on Friday. This new deal isn't a normal active working talent deal, but it gives him the opportunity for one true final run.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know when his initial contract was set to expire. The fact that Body Slam mentions this, I think Ron's son on social media congratulated his dad, said something like one last run. It's pure speculation on my part. I wonder if with the not a normal active working talent deal, if this is a situation where this is like a short-term extension. Months rather than years. Do you know what I mean? Well, hey, we have the story we want to tell with you, to kind of wrap up your time at WWE. And it's going to culminate, like, say, Cena's like, all right, Truth, Ron Killings, we're going to have a match. If you lose, you're done at WWE. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. And I think if you can, even in advance of this, if they were to go to him, and I don't know what conversations were had. I mean, seemingly something pretty cold went down here.
Yeah.
But if they had gone to him and say, look, man, you are objectively one of the most beloved members of the roster, both to the fans and to, the roster. We would like to phase you out because we're trying to make room for some youth. But we'd like you to go out on terms that you're, happy with, give you a Hall of Fame berth, a last run, maybe something where your character can be a bit more complex. Can we extend you for a year and tell that story?
Yeah.
And, I don't know, if there's, yeah. I mean, that you would think that if that was the case, then that's as good as you can ask for. If you want to, as a company, start phasing out certain, legacy elements. He's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. And I understand that they're trying to save money because they're in mountains of debt. But yeah, for Nick Khan to be like, oh my God, this fan reaction is not like anything we expected. Well, then that's weird to me. That's really silly.
Well, I mean, he probably, a lot of people in the executive branch of WWE probably live in a pretty, probably live in a bubble,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So,
but regardless, I do hope that if this is a situation where he is back for, a limited run, whether it's 6 months, a year, whatever, maybe his last match will be at WrestleMania, that we do get, we've always had shades of a more complex R-Truth, and I hope that they're able to concoct a good story for him and his send-off. And, that crowd's going to go, they're going to give him a huge standing ovation, which is what the guy deserves at this point in his career. And then from there, we'll see, maybe he's like, hey, the guy is still at 53 years old, is in phenomenal shape. Maybe he'll have another run in a TNA or, an AEW. I kind of doubt that one, but you never know if he's still interested in all that stuff, then that's how it can go. Or he could be a WWE ambassador type,
Yeah, who knows? I guess there was some reporting, I think it was from Meltzer. Can't remember who it was. Meant to include in the notes here that the reason that he wanted to have his last run as Ron Killings as opposed to R-Truth is to, bring more brand value to the Ron Killings name. So once he was done at WWE,
okay,
perhaps more opportunities for him.
Yeah. So, hey, that's pretty smart there.
It is. It is. Of course, Truth, now seemingly going by Ron Killings at WWE, took Twitter to respond to users' claim the whole thing was a work, saying simply, "No work."
No work.
No work.
Last word there from Ron Killings.
Yep.
So we are going to talk about, let's see here. Oh, was this more stuff here?
There's even more stuff with
okay.
Truth,
We'll talk about that in a second. And then we'll do our Worlds Collide thing. We do have a sponsor for the show this week, so let's talk about them.
We do. Let's take a break. Get word from our sponsor, Tempo, Steve.
Yes.
Summer is nearly here.
Oh, man.
With all the barbecues and road trips and family vacations I got on the docket over the next couple months, thinking it might be tough for old Larson to keep up with his healthy eating habits with so much going on. You know me, I need my protein.
Oh, absolutely, man. And if you think you got to turn to easy meal solutions that may compromise your nutrition this summer, think again. Tempo makes staying on track easy, offering fresh protein-packed meals that are ready to eat in just 3 minutes. Tempo's perfectly portioned meals take all the guesswork out of eating well, so you can maintain your healthy lifestyle without sacrificing taste or convenience.
And I see that Tempo has new recipes each week, like barbecued pulled pork and sweet potato skillets, and sweet chili meatballs that are made with real nutrient-rich ingredients. And they also offer meals like protein-packed options that fit my dietary preferences. Steve, Larson's got to get his protein.
Yeah, man, I know. For a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off your first box. Go to tempomeals.com/raw. That's tempomeals.com/raw for 60% off your first box. tempomeals.com/raw. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So, PW Insider, this morning, Monday morning, today's Monday, right?
Today is Monday, correct?
Today is Monday.
Yes, I think.
So PW Insider had a complete rundown of the R-Truth saga this morning, saying that it wasn't a work. And adding, quote, WWE reached out to Truth several days before Money in the Bank and is believed to come to terms Friday, the day before. They then hid him until the run-in. There were rumblings over the course of Money in the Bank in the locker room. There was a big run-in happening, but at least a few assumed that meant Travis Scott. If anyone in the locker room was aware it was Truth ahead of time, we've not heard it. They continued. This is kind of how they summarize their write-up. Why did this happen? WWE made a mistake. They cut someone based on math and realized that they had upset not just the audience, but more importantly, the entire realm of their locker room, many of whom privately made their feelings known as much as some did publicly. So the company course-corrected. This doesn't mean every talent will get a reprieve when WWE cuts them, but Truth, as a performer and locker room stalwart, was a unique case, and the ripple effect of that unique case actually ended with a positive.
Yeah, you gotta hope that moving forward, when they are making personnel decisions, and again, this is going to sound kind of, this could be a situation where it's going to sound a little bit on the heartless side. They can't keep everybody. They sign them to contracts. I think if you sign somebody to a contract and you keep them around through the length of the contract, and then you don't extend that contract if you don't feel like it's working for your business, I understand that. That's a normal thing in business. It's a normal thing. But you have to look at the risk reward of doing that. And when you look down the roster, certain people are going to elicit very strong reactions.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think of another name that his name was sort of out there because he had changed up some of his social media. But The Miz, for example, is not like what he was in 2016, or certainly not like 2010, 2011, when he was main eventing WrestleMania, when he was actively in the Intercontinental Championship scene. I think he's an 8 or 9 time Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
And these days he's mentor to Carmelo Hayes, no doubt making a shit ton of money because he's been around for a very long time and he's very reliable. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I saw this video on WWE social of him and John Cena in what looked like a fairly candid moment when Cena was, I think it was around Mania or something like that. And Miz was explaining to Cena how some words of advice that he had given the Miz ages ago, Miz imparted to somebody else. I don't think he said who it was, but he imparted it to somebody else. And John Cena looked as a shoot very proud of Miz that he had evolved into what seems like a locker room leader. Mm-hmm. I could see there being the same response. If they look at Miz's contract and be like, man, we're paying this guy a shit ton of money and he's ostensibly kind of a manager to Carmelo Hayes these days. You know, I could see there being the same. That's the thing that they're going to have to really understand is, yes, maybe we don't pay maybe we pay this guy more than he's worth on television in a wrestling capacity, but that extra money might be worth it to, you know, to maintain the locker room leader status, to, you know, give a good, you know, somebody with a good mind and is able to help your youth movement through his knowledge and leadership, and a guy who is always at the ready, who can be slotted into those situations.
Well, not only that, but the case of The Miz, you ask him to do any sort of press thing, he does it.
And he expertly. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and there's
so
something to be said for putting a premium on maintaining the chemistry of your locker room.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if, you know, someone's looking at, you know, a spreadsheet of you know, salaries for wrestlers and says, well, you know, this name is making too much compared to how they're utilized on TV. Mm-hmm. That's just one small aspect.
You got to look at other factors.
You got to look at everything.
Yeah.
And especially if one of the goals of WWE the next few years is to get an influx of younger wrestlers on the roster. Mm-hmm. Veteran wrestlers with a wealth of experience who have the respect of everybody are invaluable in that scenario, because they're the ones who are going to impart, you know, like the necessary knowledge to the younger wrestlers joining the company to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I just bring up The Miz because I know that guy, he's been around for a long time, probably makes a shit ton of money, and probably more than what you would expect based off of if you just started watching.
Yeah. Based
on
you
just started watching today, his role in the company, the minutes that he has on television, but this is a guy where you can put him anywhere. So yeah, I mean, and I'm just bringing that up because Alvarez had said a thing about, you know, oh, The Miz, I can, you know. So,
well, I mean, I think after, you know, the news about Truth last week, then people noticed The Miz took like everything WWE off social media stuff. And so people are like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is Miz getting ready to leave? I think his contract is up some point in 2025. So
yeah. Before we get on with our Worlds Collide review, I want to bring this up. We got some new merch over at friendoshop.com. I'm very excited about this one, Larson. As a lot of people know, you and I are big fans of the NBA. We shoot hoops these days 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Our ankles, our knees, bruised, battered. Just a couple of old, slow men beating each other up 3 times a week. And it's honestly my favorite thing in the week. I look forward to it so much. And so because of that, our merch outlet, they offer up all over print basketball jerseys. And so we've whipped up 4 of these things along with a couple hats. and it's the very first Friendo Club Hoops collection, and it's available now at friendoshop.com. These things are awesome. They're, athletic, this sweat wicking thing. You can wear them to the gym. You can wear them out and about if it's a hot summer day. You can wear them on the court like we do. And then we got a couple of hats as well. They're reasonably priced. And we got a shirt and a hoodie as well. I'm also working on some all over print. They are ridiculous, but all over print hoodie and matching joggers like sweatpants.
Love to hear it.
That'll be coming down the pipeline. But this is our first batch of jerseys here. And
expect more, because I got a couple ideas that I'd like to try to hammer out if I could find them.
Oh, absolutely. I love these things. They're so comfortable. They're lightweight. The colors pop. Like, they really do pop. They look like $1 million. I'm really, really happy with the way they came out. Generally speaking, I usually get, and in this case, I have a sample of everything. It's the teal one. And I'll be honest with you, like, you're a little washed out. That teal actually pops a bit better than what we see on camera here. But yeah, they're really, really nice jerseys.
They are.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get those right now. I got the hat there. These hats they're like the kids wear them a little bit bigger these days.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like that. But no, it's really, the hats are like, they're embroidered, so they're all nice and shit.
Yeah.
So check it out. So they're all nice and shit.
Yeah.
So check it out, friendoshop.com.
All right.
Let's go to technical difficulties right now because we've got some stream drops.
Okay.